Let's okay, let's do it. This is the first installment of Team Classthetics podcast. How are you doing, Eli?
I'm doing great, Yusuf. I'm really happy to be here. Man, I'm just pumped.
Good, good. How was your day?
Solid. I had a couple of orientation sessions today, personal training over at Snap Fitness in Dundee, and they went pretty well. I'm really enjoying my time there.
Orientation for new employees. I know you're the manager there, right?
I am, yeah. So this will be orientations for personal training. So I manage 2 days a week, and then the rest of my time there I spend personal training. So I'm there mostly every day, probably 12 hours a day in the last couple weeks. I'm really just kind of grinding and trying to get my business off the ground, but
There we
it's been
go.
a blast. Yeah,
Yes, maybe
yeah.
you potentially gonna employ me as a personal trainer.
Potentially. Maybe if I buy the gym out and we can actually do some bodybuilding stuff in there. As
Yeah,
of now, they're not big fans of the shirtless posing stuff, so
they're
I
not.
don't
Oh,
know.
I was gonna say if you guys will let us come and pose, that would be awesome. But
It would be nice. Maybe I'll get to that eventually. They're not big fans of that right now, but
I understand.
yeah.
Okay, we talked about doing this podcast, what, like 3, 4 months ago?
Yeah, yeah, we did. I remember it
That's
pretty
good.
well. That was right after my show actually. And we were talking about it a little bit the night of the show, after it, and then more in the morning when we went to get breakfast and I was kind of pounding chocolate covered pancakes down my throat. We brought it up again. So
We should have
um
we should have done a whole vlog of the whole thing, of the show, post-show pinging and all that.
yeah, yeah, I should have. It would just be me on camera eating for 24 straight hours is what
Yeah,
it would have been. So
yeah.
I think that's probably entertaining. Yeah.
It is entertaining for a while until the reality kicks in and you realize that you're screwing your whole process that you've been through getting your body
Yeah.
in this shape.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest thing that I want to say I learned from that prep is, man, it's easy to say to yourself before your first competition, I'm gonna keep eating clean, because your head is fully in it. I mean, when you're prepping for a show, it really does consume so much of just your thoughts all day, every day, and it was hard to picture myself just going off of a diet just like that. Like,
It
um,
starts with the first bite of the burger or the pizza.
yeah,
Everything just
yeah,
switches.
yep. You get that rush of dopamine, and man,
Nah,
oh,
you get
it
high.
feels like you're in heaven for a minute. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you feel high. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I remember that night. I ate so much food that I thought I thought I was gonna die. Like I was concerned maybe I need to go to the hospital. Because I was just laying on my back at the Airbnb, like, ooh, I felt like I was gonna explode out of both ends.
You get the heartburn and the shortness of breath and all that, and you feel like there's something wrong. My heart is beating, and I don't feel good. I feel sick.
Yeah,
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 big time.
yeah. I remember a lot of working with a lot of clients. A lot of clients come peak week. They're like, I can live on this forever. This tastes good. The plain oats with the raw eggs with the stevia and sweetener. I mean stevia
Oh
and
yeah.
cinnamon. It tastes good. I can use this for my off season. I'm like, nope. You're gonna change your mind.
You told me that and I didn't believe you. I was like, because I remember I was eating that the night before the show and then the day of the show, and man, it tasted like
Like,
gourmet
so,
cake.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Have
and
you tried it in
I
your off season yet?
no, I haven't eaten it ever again. Not since that day. I think maybe when I got home, but no, not since then.
If you try it now, I think you're gonna throw up or something.
Probably.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't sound appetizing anymore.
your taste receptors realize the game now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else we said we're gonna talk about? We said we're gonna open up about bodybuilding lifestyle in general for those who are listening who haven't actually done a show and they don't know what it takes. I mean, we all know that training in the gym and having the food is the easy part of it. But when it comes to dieting and being consistently on it for a while, it is the hard part. It's all about staying consistent. Do you have any thoughts to add on that?
Yeah,
I feel like bodybuilding
bodybuilding.
is a game and competing is totally a different whole game.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, I think that it's interesting you say that because I know of a lot of people who are in love with the bodybuilding lifestyle, but they have no feeling like they need to compete. They don't even think about it. They don't really want to compete. It is. It's a totally different thing. I think that the bodybuilding lifestyle is a 24/7 nonstop lifestyle. I mean, it is a lifestyle. It is not just a sport. It isn't just I'll do this right now and then I'll pick it up later. You don't put it down. You can't.
Mhm.
Not if you're serious. It's something that stays with you day in and day out. I have to eat these meals at these times. I have to make sure I get this many grams of protein in. I have to ensure that I get enough sleep. I mean, it doesn't just stop with training and nutrition. Sleep is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't even stop when you lay your head down at night. It stays with you all the time.
And
Yeah,
what's tricky about it is we can all commit to do that in one day, but if you're able to do it over and over, day in and a day out for weeks and months and years, this is the hard part about it. Because we don't see results in one day, 1 week, 1 month. And people
yeah,
just
yeah,
wanna
exactly.
just wanna jump in full throttle and then they fade out. Yeah, if you have I have the analogy of I always tell my clients that if you have a plant and you want it to grow and you want to get fruits out of it, you can't just kill it with water in 1 day and expect fruits. It takes a while, just like your body. It takes a while, it takes time. And that's why a lot of people think that going enhanced is the short route of it. They think they're gonna wake up Jack the next day, and it doesn't work like that. It takes time. You can't brush your teeth for a whole hour and expect the results in 1 hour. It's consistency over time. And dieting is the same thing, but on a whole different scale. So I know because I fast Ramadan, the holy month that Muslims fast all day from sunrise to sundown. I know a lot of people switch, they change character. You see people driving with rage outside on the streets. People, they change, they mentally get aggressive in 1 day because they're hungry for 1 day. Imagine if you're hungry for weeks, for months, and then you get a cheat meal and you're so excited and you're full for 2 hours and then you're starving again. It's challenging. It's really mentally challenging. The diet is the hard part of everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Every,
I think it's definitely the hardest part.
yep.
Training feels good. I think that if you have any thoughts of going into a bodybuilding lifestyle or you're looking to compete, um, don't do it for the wrong reasons. Don't do it just because you like to train, because that's the easy part. Getting the pump, that's addicting. It feels good. The whole process feels good.
Yeah.
What doesn't feel good is an hour on the treadmill at an incline with 1,500 calories of food a day after 16 weeks of nonstop chicken, broccoli, and egg whites.
And your
That
whole
doesn't
body is
feel good.
sore. You don't have ever, you don't sleep well, you're starving all the time. You're like starvation mode is on.
Yeah,
And it's hard to even control your feeling. You get vulnerable of everything. You get everything
yeah,
personal, you get emotional easily, everything breaks through your skin, and it's really hard. It's that's why I say it's character shaping. Competing is character shaping because you dig deep into your soul and you know
mm,
who you really are.
oh yeah,
So your first show, it went great. I thought you were gonna turn pro just like your girlfriend, Mackenzie. Shout out to Mackenzie. She turned pro on the first show, right?
yes,
Nice,
yes.
bro. What was how would you? relate your expectations of the prep, show prep process versus what it turned out to be. Like on everything, on dieting, on training, on cardio, and on actual show day.
Yeah. Well, I think what I undervalued the most when I first started was posing. So
Mm.
I'll just give you a little bit of background information, and for the listeners mostly. I've kind of had a bodybuilding lifestyle since I was 16. When I first got into fitness and first learned how to take care of my body, it was from bodybuilding YouTubers and Instagram personalities, and they obviously were deep in it, and a lot of them were competitors. But I was used to kind of macro dieting. Oh, that's an interesting one. I'll get into that in a minute. But I was used to the cycles of bulking and cutting, and I was used to the training aspects. But posing was something I had never done, and it was harder. It was harder than I thought it was. They make it look easy. Everybody makes it
Yeah.
look so easy when they're on stage.
Mhm.
But at an amateur show, you can really tell who practices and who doesn't.
Yes.
I think looking back at the videos of my show, I'm happy with my performance, but I definitely see where I need to improve. And I see where, if I had started day one of my 16-week prep with at least 10 minutes of posing,
Yeah.
even if it was awful to start, I mean, at least I'm doing it and getting that habit going right away, rather than kind of putting that to the wayside and waiting until a month and a half, 2 months out to get some solid posing time in.
Yeah,
But
I remember when I saw you for the first time, I was like, man, you got a lot to show. You're not showing 50% of what you have. There's a lot of area of improvement for your physique. I remember we took a video of your first just sketchy posing that and then over time you just picked it up real quick.
yeah, yeah. I think having somewhat of an athletic background helps with that a little bit. I think that if you're used to manipulating your body in a certain way, and if you're a visual learner, it helps a lot too. If you can just watch somebody else pose and pick up on what they're doing and imitate it,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
It can be tricky because when you look at yourself in the mirror and you hit the pose, it's different from what people see down there, the audience. That's why I always say try to set your phone on a similar angle of what people are gonna see when like the audience watching you. Because a little bit of tweaks here and there can change the whole thing. It's all about illusion. People look at Arnold and they say he's got such a small waist. No, he doesn't. He's got a thick waist. But the twists with the vacuum, the side poses, makes it disappear. It's just an illusion. And a very important thing in posing that a lot of people underestimate is stretching. If you're not flexible, you can't show what you want to show. So posing is a big deal. It's a bodybuilding show at the end of the day. It's a bodybuilding show. It's not a bodybuilding lifting or bodybuilding dieting or bodybuilding supplement. It's a show. So if you don't know how to show it, you don't have it, and you work really hard for 16 weeks, 20 weeks, 25 weeks, and then you have maximum 10, 15 minutes on stage. Some promoters give you a minute on stage. If you don't show it, you lost everything you sacrificed.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
and that's a
really,
painful thing.
yeah, it is painful, especially when you look back at yourself and you're like, man, I could have shown more. I could have bought my hamstring more. I could have showed my chest a little bit more. It's at this point, it's gone.
Yeah,
Wait for
yeah,
you too.
definitely.
What about the dieting? For me, it was a shock. For the first show was a shock. I didn't realize that I had to diet this hard. I think your light went off.
Yeah, it did. I'm working on it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, so dieting was shocking for me, the first show. I don't know if we did it 100% right. I personally don't think so. I felt like I went over dieted, but I was conditioned, and I won. I did Men's Physique and Classic, and I won both. But then I got addicted to it. But still, dieting is what holds me back the most from doing a show. Because I know everything is gonna be on hold. I mean, almost my life is gonna be on hold for a while. Because you can't be 100% on your work, or if you're a student, if you have things to study, things to focus on, if you have a lot of work, if you have family, if you have all that, you can't give everything 100% and give your prep 100%. You started
Yeah.
losing things, right?
Yeah.
Forgetting things, and your focus goes down. It's crazy. Energy is not there. Did you think you're gonna be starving this much to get in shape?
No, no. And I didn't realize what it would feel like. I know what hunger feels like. Um and I've done, like I said, I've done diets since I was about 15, 16 years old, um, pretty regularly, but to do them consistently, very consistently over a long period of time, it's not just hunger, it's something different. I don't want to say it's starvation. It's not quite that because you're able to maintain muscle through it, but yeah, you do lose concentration more easily, and it is harder just to get out of bed. It gets harder to do little things like even making your bed. You're like, man, how many calories am I burning doing that? Because I only get this much for breakfast, and I have to have more left later when I train. It's little stuff. Little stuff becomes more difficult.
It's crazy,
So
and
yeah,
it starts playing with your mind. And a lot of people in the industry, a lot of bodybuilders have started with eating disorders, and for the most part, competing and doing a show will probably make it worse. I mean, a lot of people use the show preparation as a tool to kind of control their eating disorders, but most of them, from my experience, most of them just fall off track after the show and they get worse. And then you get the depression, and every time you look at yourself in the mirror, like, man, I lost everything I worked for. I look fat, and your head starts playing game on you.
hmm,
It's yeah, it's a process of mental challenge. It's mental. I mean, as much as bodybuilding is physical, it's more mental. The competing part of it is more mental.
yeah, big time, big time.
How did it feel on when stepping on stage for the first time?
Oh yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
you were a little nervous.
It was nerve-wracking. It was definitely a nervous experience. I one thing that I kind of appreciated in the moment is that when you are on stage, those lights are typically so bright, it's hard to completely see the audience.
Yeah,
Um, and the way it looks, I mean, it's hard to describe, but I'm sure other people out there do know if they've done some sort of performing before. But if you're like me and you've never been on stage for any reason like that, it's you get this kind of tunnel vision when you look out into the crowd.
yeah,
But then the judges are like right there, and you can see them clear as day. I could see the whites of their eyes. They weren't far from me either. Maybe 10 feet, maybe a little bit further than 10 feet, not far. So it was strange, and cool, and at the same time. So first stepping out when you're next to other people, um I could kind of feel the competitiveness inside me come out, and that was a good feeling. I felt myself flexing, and when I was posing, I was just like, yeah, I look way better than these guys next to
yeah.
me. So that's fun. It is fun to do it kind of next to other people, but yeah, it's just a very unique experience that feels really good and really interesting. Yeah.
I believe what helped you, like, pumped you even more, that Mackenzie went before you. and she killed it.
Yeah,
She was center
yeah, she
stage.
did.
She won the pro card. I remember you crying. I still have the video.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I
That was
couldn't
such
I
a
couldn't
moment.
help it.
Yeah, I'm glad I
I
got
don't know if it was just the prep and I was just you know, it does mess with your head a little bit, but
it hits you all the
no,
feelings, man. You're thinking that I don't have to diet anymore, and this is the end of it, and it's time to have fun, and I got all the
yeah,
food afterwards, and then you're excited for the placing that you get and all that, and you know
yeah,
that you have a lot of friends and family supporting you, like sitting in the crowds, and you're excited for the photos, how you're gonna look like, all that, all the feelings. It's show day is the best.
it is. It is. It's like
It's it.
it's all of that everything that we just went over. It probably sounds pretty negative to anybody who hasn't competed before, you know, the being so tired and low energy and not being able to concentrate and being very hungry to a strange level. um it's all so worth it. It's completely worth it. I would never, if I went back in time to me before I started the prep, I would never say don't do it. Even though it was painful and difficult, and I went through so many trials, and even situations with family and friends can become tenuous at times because they don't fully understand why you're doing what you're doing, and why are you saying no when I offer you this food, and why won't you go out to eat with me. I mean, we do as a culture put a lot of emphasis on food. I mean,
Yes.
every culture really. Food is a huge part of culture. So
My culture is
to
more.
kind of say, what's that? Your
I think
culture
my
more?
culture is more of that.
Yeah,
Food.
yeah. Our culture is more so American culture. Yeah, yeah. That's what McDonald's and Big Boy and stuff. Some diners. Yeah, it's definitely not quite the same. I gotta say, um, I absolutely love Arabic food, like so much, so much. I have it probably once a week now, especially since after starting to work with you.
What do
And
you like?
Mackenzie loved it before.
What
What's
do you
that?
like to eat?
I like, what do you call it? It's the chicken shawarma, the especially a wrap. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's good stuff.
Have you tried
Shout out
appetizers?
to what's that place? Pita Pita was
Pita pita.
probably one of the first places I went to. I love Pita Pita.
Yeah.
Um,
Good. You should go
yeah, I
check
feel like,
the other places in Dearborn. They have a lot of places. Like
yeah,
I would say some of them are even better than Pita Pita, but I like it.
yeah.
It's so good.
So good, so good. That
What else? What else that
garlic
other
butter or
than
whatever.
shawarma?
Huh?
What else? What else? What kind of foods that you know or you like in Arabic food?
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say, basically anything with that garlic, that creamy garlic sauce. I don't even know what it's called. You throw that on anything, I'll eat it, man.
Yeah,
It's so good, so good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is amazing. I absolutely love baklava too. It's
Mhm.
good stuff. After I always get at least a small cube of it after every meal. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good. Have you tried the kunafa?
Not unless you had me try it. I don't know.
No,
I can't
maybe,
remember if I did before. I feel like I might have. Rings a bell.
maybe you try. Maybe if you see it, you're gonna be like, yeah, I recognize this.
Yeah,
Next time we go to Dearborn, we're gonna go get some desserts from
yeah.
what is it called? There's a good place in Dearborn.
Oh wait, is that the stuff that's it's like it's in a bowl and it's got like all the cream or whatever in there
No,
and
no, no, no. That's Arika.
oh
That's the
okay.
Yemeni food. That's great
Yeah.
with the honey and the cream and all that.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
making me hungry. Like
Me too. I feel like we went off track though. What were we yeah, it was
we're
just
talking
going
about
through.
show experience and how the show day makes everything worth it.
Oh,
And
right.
this is
Yeah.
actually a good point to transition to our next topic, which is how you actually apply what you learned in the sport or in competing to your lifestyle and use it.
Yeah, I think whenever you do a prep, it like we've talked about, it covers every facet of your life. There's never a time where you aren't at least partially thinking about the show and what you need to do to look good on show day.
Mhm.
So what I noticed is after the post show dip in mood and falling off diet and all of the issues that I've had after the show, which we can talk about possibly in another podcast. After I recovered from that, you do recover, by the way, just so people know, it's a difficult thing, that post show rebound, but I have recovered and I'm a better person now. I've grown so much after that recovery. Um,
Almost a different person after doing the show.
yeah, yeah, totally, completely. I think before the show I had there were so many parts of my personality that I just wished I could just fix somehow, some way. And I had tried other things, but I think what did the most good for me was sticking to something and following through with it, no matter how difficult it got.
Even
And
when you don't
that can
feel
apply
well,
to everything. I
everything.
mean, I used it in school. Yeah, you know what I noticed is that this last semester was probably, yeah, it wasn't fun. I was going full time, 15 credits and working, so it's a lot for anybody. That would be a lot. um but when I got to business, I mean, it wasn't an issue. It wasn't like I had this need or desire to do other things, and it's not like I was skirting assignments. I stopped procrastinating, which is something I used to do so much. And tons of people do. I don't remember the statistics on it, but it's high. I think it's over
Yeah,
50% of people
yeah,
procrastinate pretty often. Um, so that stopped. Everything honestly just got easier because everything else pales in comparison to a bodybuilding prep. That's how difficult a real prep is.
yeah. Because you
So
develop that mindset, that willpower. Because I tell people, I keep telling people, if you count the hours that you spend in the gym, let's say you average an hour a day. Let's say it's 300 hours a year. If you train 5, 10 years, it's like 2,000, 3,000 hours of your time. If you spend that time in something else, if you read books about physics, you're going to be a scientist. So all the time that you waste in the gym, getting ready for the gym, doing the cardio, all that, you got to use it somehow. So everything that you do, you got to be intuitive with that. Like you think about it. You think about going to the gym alone without motivation, going to the gym when nobody wants you to go, being on a diet when nobody cares, having the discipline to eat what you have to eat while your friends are having fun outside, doing like movies or going to the restaurants or everything that you do. If you actually think about it, you're getting something other than your body. You're shaping your character. You're developing the discipline, the willpower, the consistency, everything else. So if you use all these aspects that you learn in the gym, going beyond failure, going beyond the pain, going through the pain, working through the pain, no recovery, no support, no energy, and you keep doing what you want to do, even without seeing results, even when your mind is telling you to quit. If you can bring that to any aspect of your life and apply it there, man, you can be successful in everything, in everything. And I said that before in another podcast that you can be successful in business, in your family, as a father, as a brother, as a son, in relationships, in everything basically. If you really think about what you do and you apply it outside in your life, it's a game changer. And that's
totally
why I tell
true.
people, yeah, that's why I tell people you're gonna suffer doing the prep, but you're gonna come out a different person the other way. And you're gonna
Yeah.
appreciate what you became. It's not the trophy, it's what you gain. Just like having a degree, studying a bachelor or master's degree, it's not about the paper. It's about what you gained throughout the years, the knowledge that you gain. The paper or the trophy is just a label, just more so a memory or a souvenir.
Hmm.
But what you gain going out the other way is the real deal.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's life changing. No
Hmm.
matter how hard it is, it completely changes your life. And that's what I really, really want anybody listening to this to get out of this is that if you haven't done a show, if you're thinking about it, if you're on the edge, just do it. But when you do it completely.
Yep.
Like you are in it. When you start, you don't stop. Every single day, work toward that goal. And man, yeah,
You're gonna have
it's
big
absolutely
freedom.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's so incredible. Yeah, the amount of discipline that I've had getting out of it. I mean, I'm able now, not to say that anybody should necessarily work crazy hours or burn themselves out doing crazy things, but I'll tell you that you can get away with it a lot better after a bodybuilding show. Just the
Yeah.
level of discipline, in that day in, day out. A 12-hour shift doesn't feel like much to me. I'm just there. I'm just
Yeah.
going through
You're
it.
just
I'm
living
doing
life.
what I need to do.
Yeah. You're just cruising, and you have food, and you have energy, and all that.
Yeah, that makes it so much easier. And then, even on those days, maybe it's Friday and the weekend's coming and you just can't wait, but you're burnt out from all the work that you've done from Monday to Thursday. You don't have energy at that point, but I'll tell you, you don't have energy for a month, 2 months at a time during a bodybuilding prep.
Mhm.
So what's one day? What's one day? Do what you need to do, get it done. It doesn't matter if you're low energy. Once you do it, it's done. So do it. And
Yep.
I think regular average Joes struggle with that because they've never gone through what a bodybuilder really goes through.
Yes, and that's why bodybuilders get emotional when they get crowned, when they win. It's not the trophy, guys. It's what you think, what goes in your head when they hand you the first place or when they present you as a winner. Even top five or top two, top three. What goes in your mind is something I can't put into words. You you get all the feelings. You get like flashbacks come in, throw your way, all the hours of cardio, all the sacrifice, everything, and I'm here. I did it. And the cool thing about bodybuilding that you can't fake it. It shows. You can't lie. So if you get there, you get in shape, you look at yourself, I did it. There's nothing that can be faked on stage. So if you put in the work, it's gonna reflect. And this is something I love about that no other variables can manipulate your work. So if you're working on a project, other people can ruin it. But if you're working on your own body and you actually put in the work, it shows. You can't fake it. It's something that can't be faked. So it's true, actual hard work that you present on stage. People look at it as just a muscle head, a meathead flexing on stage. No, it's not about it's not only about the muscles. A lot of people do it and don't think deeply about it, but I'm sure a lot of people do think deeply about it, and they look at competing not only for the trophy or for the title or for the pro card. It's the challenge and growth that you gain from doing the bodybuilding shows.
Yeah, I absolutely am offended when people look at bodybuilders and say things like, oh, meathead or whatever. You pick things up and put them down, big deal. No, if you're a competitive bodybuilder, you're so much more than that, so much more than that. So don't let anybody say anything like that. Don't let that kind of sit in your brain for a minute. You just kick that out because they don't know, and that's fine. They're ignorant about it. But bodybuilders are some of the smartest people out there. You have to be completely up to date on science and understanding how the body functions physiologically. Even with a coach, it's very beneficial for you to have your own set of knowledge going into it.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so it's yeah, way more than a bunch of meatheads.
Yeah,
No, we are some of the most disciplined, knowledgeable, passionate people on the face of this earth.
and it's just a small part of the population. So if you look at the gym, how many hundreds of gym memberships, and then how many actual people that make it to stage? It's a few. It's a few
Yeah.
people. And a lot of people sit back there in the audience and watch, and he's a little fat in the lower back. He doesn't have calves. His arms are small. They don't know what it takes. They don't know what it takes. And it's
Right.
yeah, it can be offensive.
Right. Now I want to kind of circle back a little bit to something you said, just like 2 or 3 minutes ago. You said everything that you do during your prep shows when you're on stage, and I want to say that gave me goosebumps because if you're someone out there who, I did bring up earlier, I had some negative personality traits that were difficult for me to shut down before I did my prep, and some of those were um, a lack of belief in myself, a lack of self confidence. And part of that was because it's difficult just in normal day-to-day life, at most jobs, to see the fruits of your labor directly, because you're always working with other people, and other people can pretty easily get in the way, and there are so many other factors at play.
Mm,
But when you're doing a prep, it's all you. It is all you.
yes.
And yeah, it's just so it's definitely reaffirming to know that you can do it,
Yeah.
and you can get there. Yeah.
A lot of people get surprised when they actually win the first time because they don't believe that they can get up to this level. I mean, if you look down at your stomach, you don't see what other people see. You're like,
Mhm.
no, I'm still fat. No, you're not. Step on stage and flex and see how things look. When people look at themselves and I'm small, they say I'm small. They think they're small. You're just in your head. But when they get up there and they're the best or one of the best and they win, they're like, I can't believe I did this. Now you do. Now you believe. And it boosts your self-confidence. It gives you another perspective on who you really are and what your potentials are.
Yeah, completely. That's just another huge takeaway from a prep, and
Mm.
how you can apply that just to everyday life. And yeah, that combination of discipline and passion and self-confidence, that's a recipe for success if you utilize that.
Especially for people that came from a obesity background or had some body issues like body perception issues. Like if you're fat and you worked 5, 6 years and you did a bodybuilding show, if you once at your life were afraid of taking your shirt off and then you're on stage with lights on you, with hundreds of people watching and people actually judging you and they reward you as a winner, this is a big thing. It's a big thing. It's a big achievement. You came from hiding your body to actually showing your body as a piece of art and people applaud to it. That's a huge achievement, and that's why it can't. The judging will never be fair. It can be fair because they don't know where people came from. They don't know, so they look at the top of the mountain. Some people came from here. Some people came from down here. It's all the distance that they went through. It's different. So you can get two people and the winner didn't work half as hard as the other guy. But he was rewarded as a winner. Maybe they got great genetics. Maybe they weren't overweight. They had problems going in their lives. So the place in itself is not a huge deal. I mean, it is a big deal at the end of the day because you want to win. But it shouldn't break you if you expect to win and then someone shows up that's been doing it for 5, 10 years and win on you. It doesn't mean that you suck.
No.
It just means that they've been doing it for a long time. They have the tools to do it. They got an easier prep. They have a shorter distance to go through.
Yeah, that's what's totally different about bodybuilding from other sports. I mean, if you look at track athletes, you look at a 100-meter dash, all of them start at the same spot. They're all at
Yeah.
zero.
Hmm.
Bodybuilding is not that. In bodybuilding, some people are starting at 75 while you're at zero. And
Hmm.
you still have to show up at the same day and do the same poses and still somehow have the drive in you to try to win that and
Yeah.
take the trophy out of the guy's hand who started at 75. They only had 25 meters to go.
Yeah. And
You
they
went
they
actually
had
up
a lot of
75.
obstacles in the way, like family and friends and all that. But they have obstacles along the way. Maybe you had a straight line, they had a zigzag or something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because their lifestyle, you don't know what job they do, what things they have to go through, what mental state they go through.
Hmm.
And then it's an individual journey, and it's a challenge, and it's worth it. A lot of people do it for a couple times and they quit. It's not the right thing for them, whether it's health issues or it's just too much of a thing, and they want to settle down on the kind of a getting in shape. And some people get way against doing a bodybuilding show after doing a bodybuilding show just because they didn't expect to go through that. Maybe they had a bad experience with a coach, or they went severely over dieted. They had mental issues, which can actually happen doing the shows. It's not something for everybody, obviously. But if you commit to doing a bodybuilding show and you actually go through the other side of it, the big thing is to use it to your favor, because it can be a life-changing experience.
Definitely. Definitely.
All right, Eli, we're gonna close it here,
All right.
and we'll see you guys next week. Do you want to add anything before we shut it down?
I should have had something prepared. I'm gonna have something prepared next time. Right now, if you haven't done a show and you're thinking about it and you're on the edge and you know that you have what it takes, do it. Start it today. There is no reason not to. You can worry about the show date later. Get started. Get your butt to the gym, lift weights, lift hard, eat chicken, eat broccoli. Let's do it.
Well, maybe enjoy a little bit here and there. But the bottom line is you don't have to wait till you're 100% ready, because you will never
Yeah.
be 100% ready.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, peace out, guys. See you on the next one.
See ya.